It has been 530 years since the Last Supper painting was first undertaken by the great Leonardo da Vinci. And this painting is in the top paintings of all time. Why has it been so popular? Why does it have so much influence? Why are we still looking at it and studying it today, centuries later? Well, some have speculated that there is a dark, secret message embedded in this painting that Da Vinci was trying to reveal. And this was really popularized by the Da Vinci Code, the novel and the movie that basically took some fringe theories and created a story out of it, and those have all since been debunked. However, there is an often overlooked reality in this painting. And this reality is one that has had a profound impact on my life, and I think it can have an impact on yours as well. So that's what I want to talk about in this video. What's amazing about this is all the detail, but it's also huge. You know, I'm like holding this tiny piece of paper. It's actually 15 feet tall by 29 feet wide. It's a wall painting that took over 4 years to complete. And though it's been restored, it's actually still available. You can go see it today at the Santa Maria del Grazie in Milan. I'm sure I just butchered that. But there's many things that are fascinating about this painting, and I've not seen it myself in person. I'd really love to do that. But what's so striking to me when I look at it is how Da Vinci painted the faces of each of the people in this, Jesus and his disciples. And of course, Da Vinci is known for painting faces, the Mona Lisa, maybe the most popular painting of all time. This particular scene is the scene of Jesus with his disciples as they are eating the annual Jewish Passover meal together. And it's right after Jesus had predicted that one of his disciples would betray him. It's like Jesus said to them, hey, I know one of you here is going to betray me. And then all of a sudden you get everybody's reactions to that, you know? So this is, the painting is how Da Vinci imagined their facial expressions and their reactions to be. It's kind of a cool thing to even think to paint. And this, of course, isn't the first, painting of Jesus and his disciples eating this Last Supper together, because it's a really big historical event. But in this painting, he really captures the spectrum of negative emotions. I mean, you can see just kind of across the men, there's outrage, there's suspicion, there's fear, there's guilt. You can kind of see like as if they're questioning, like, is it you? Is it me? Is it me? Is it, I mean, who's it going to be? It's this full spectrum of negative emotions. And yet what's so interesting to me is that when Da Vinci painted this, supposedly he got real people to use their faces to paint the faces of these men, right? Like he got models to paint their faces. And some claim that he even used his own face in the painting. I think it's the one, second from the left. And I don't know, it could be legend, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But either way, he looked at people's faces and used those real faces and imagined what it would have been like at this scene. And there's one face that has caught the attention of many spectators and scholars alike for many, many years, and maybe have caught yours as well. It may have caught yours too if you've looked at this. If you're familiar with the story of Jesus eating this meal and announcing his betrayal, you know that Jesus was betrayed by his follower Judas. And Judas had exchanged the location of Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. The Jewish religious leaders who wanted to kill Jesus, Judas offered to take them to him, and he got 30 pieces of silver. And in this, in this painting, Da Vinci has cleverly painted Judas, who's fourth from the left, and Judas is there. He's kind of in the shadows, while everyone else is kind of a little bit lit up a little bit. Judas is actually in the shadows, and he's holding on to a bag of money in one hand, and he's leaning away from Jesus, right? So everyone else is questioning. Judas knows it's him. He's holding on to his money in one hand, and then in his other hand is really interesting. He's actually reaching out open-handed toward Jesus. And if you see Jesus in the middle, Jesus, his right hand is actually open, and it looks like it's reaching out towards Judas. It's so fascinating how Da Vinci imagined what this could have been like as Judas himself was torn between these emotions of his money and protecting himself, and what was good for him, and also knowing that there was a part of Jesus that he still wanted. And many claim that Da Vinci used people from his own life to paint the face of Judas, like maybe somebody that he hated or had trouble with in his life. I don't know if that's true or not. Others have said that Da Vinci went to prisons to find the face of a criminal for the face of Judas. I don't know if that's true either. But what captures me about this whole painting, and what I think Da Vinci intended for us to take away from it, while there's many things, is to look at the faces of the men around Jesus and see this storm of emotions, like all of these emotions of outrage and anger and fear and suspicion, and yet Jesus, right at the center, is calm. He's unsurprised by what he's just announced to them. He's at peace. And this is the reality that I think is just so profound, is that Jesus knew that this moment was going to come. Jesus knew that he was going to be betrayed by someone close to him, a friend, a follower. Jesus knew the kind of death that this would lead to, hanging on a cross. But he came from heaven to earth anyway. Like, he knew all of this was going to happen, and he came from heaven to earth anyway. His right hand, as I've already pointed out, is kind of open, and it's reaching out towards the direction of Judas. But his left hand is actually palm up, and it's pointing down to a piece of bread. Jesus said, "I am the bread of life." As your body and my body, as we need to eat bread for our body, we need food for our body to sustain ourselves, to nourish our body so that we can live. We cannot live without food. In the same way, Jesus is saying, I am the bread for your very soul. Your soul needs food. I am that true bread coming down from heaven to earth so that you can eat, so that your soul can live. And Jesus came knowing that he was going to be betrayed, knowing that he was going to die a terrible death, because he loves you. He loves you, and he came to take the blame for all of the wrongs that you've ever done. And though he died, he lives. Jesus is the resurrected King who sits in authority over everything, authority over even death itself. And if you're unsure about Jesus, it's interesting. These events were recorded and even investigated. You can actually read about this whole historical scene. If you just do an internet search for Luke 22, you'll find the story and you can read about it. You think it's really fascinating. But again, what's capturing is all of these men, the storm of emotions around them, and Jesus at the center, calm. And he's calm because Jesus was thrown out into the ultimate storm of life, so that all who put their trust in him can be brought in to safety. And Jesus offers forgiveness for anyone who puts their trust in him. He offers peace for all the storms of your life as well. And I'd love to be a resource for you in your life, in your relationships. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. I've had a lot of help from other people, and I'd love to help you now. Help you get what you really want instead of all of the emptiness that we end up finding when we chase things in this world that we merely want. If you'd like to learn more about this video right here explains a little bit more about why I think it's important and how to get what you really want. So I'd love for you to check it out, and I'll see you over there.